Let's talk about vocal chains. So at least I know from my journey, we all start off watching mixing tutorials, and what you think is that more plugins equals that your mix is going to be a better mix, which is not true. I've learned really once you understand like EQ, compression, gain staging, you start to realize that you don't really need as many plugins as you think you did before just to get your vocals to sound clear and kind of cut through the mix. So we're gonna kind of go over my recording vocal changes so you can kind of have minimal amount of plugins as well as just like a low latency plugin recording, so you're not affecting the recording performance. So let's go over that real quick. All right, so the first one we have is going to be the Waves SSLChannel strip. This one is really like a Swiss Army knife, honestly, because you have an EQ section, you have a gate or expander section, which kind of blocks out or removes like any unwanted noise from your recording, and then as well as you have like a compression section, which is going to just control your overall vocal from being too loud or being too low. And after that, we have a Pro-Q3. So that is really, here I just have it kind of cutting off a lot of the lows, a lot of the rumble of your vocal. But then usually if there's something I can't do within the SSL, something more surgical, I would kind of do it here. So maybe cutting out like 200, 400, or maybe boosting a little bit if the vocal needs that. But I just have that there just as like a backup if needed. Secondly, we have the Deesser. So what this is doing is basically taking out like a lot of the S's or the sibilant noises. So obviously S's for the Deesser, any T's, and that just kind of prevents your vocals from being too harsh when you're listening or in playback. So if you have the volume loud, causes a lot of ear fatigue. Yeah, and then after that I have the RVox, which is a compressor by Waves. Basically what you can do here is just kind of, it brings the vocal up front and just kind of increases a lot of the dynamics of it. Usually you just kind of want a little bit, maybe like 1 and 2 dB of like compression. Just in that kind of brings the vocal up front and it kind of cuts through. This is really just a quick recording change so you can kind of get, vocals recorded quick and at least sound decent before the mix process, which you can add a little bit more plugins, but obviously you might not need too many depending on how you recorded your vocals from there.